Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm here to bring you the newest product out of the Apple lineup, and that is the Apple HomePod. Now this hi-fi speaker was supposed to be released last year, but due to some unforeseen reasons, it was delayed and was released to the general public on this past Friday. Now, if you follow me over on my Instagram, then you saw me in my stories do a live unboxing of this for you guys. So if you're not following me, I'll make sure to have that link right here on the screen as well as in the description below for you guys to check out. Now the Apple HomePod, where exactly should we start? Now I want this video to be more on the pros and cons of this device, so that way it's going to help you and give you all the information you're going to need to help with your purchasing decision, which I'll include links to all of that in the description below for you guys if you want to check it out. Now let's start with the pros, since I like to start with positive vibes. Now the initial look and design is a beautiful piece of hardware that I have to give 2 thumbs up to the Apple design team on building one of, if not the best looking hi-fi speaker out of its competition. And the fact that they were able to get all of this tech in such a small compact device is very impressive, especially when you compare it to the Google Home Max, which is Google's flagship speaker, which is just huge. Now the top controls work flawlessly with 1 tap for playing and pausing your music, double tap for the next track, triple tap to the previous song, and long press to activate Siri, as well as your plus and minus digital buttons to increase and decrease your volume. You can also ask Siri to adjust volumes in terms of percentages from 1 to 100%. Setup is also very easy with the W1 chip. All you guys have to do is just simply make sure your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth modes are on and place your device near the HomePod, and it will prompt you to connect and walk you through the setup process. That generally takes about 2 to 3 minutes to do. Now the cloth-like material feels really good in the hands, as well as I enjoyed the weight of the speaker, which is actually much heavier than I thought it would be, which to me is a good thing, since sometimes for some reason, I don't know why, but I like to equate weight of a product like this to a great build quality. So this definitely passes that quality test for me. Now the sound is definitely top notch, if not the best sounding hi-fi speaker that I've heard. Now my assessment of the sound quality is that it sounds much better than the Sonos One, the Google Home, as well as the Amazon Echo. But in terms of comparison to the Google Home Max, which is Google's flagship hi-fi speaker, I would have to say it is really hard to say which one wins over the other as far as the sound quality, since the sound quality from both is actually extremely solid. But if I had to pick one, I would have to give the best sound quality award to the Apple HomePod. And that really comes down to the spatial awareness technology that Apple has implemented into this speaker, where the HomePod will automatically just adjust the sound from bouncing off the walls in your space to provide you with the best optimal sound regardless of where it is located within your home. Now it's hard to actually translate that audio sounding experience here on camera, but that spatial awareness technology is something you guys really have to witness in person to actually appreciate it. Now it comes with the patented AA chip that also plays a huge part in the beautiful creation of this speaker. Now this chip is using beamforming technology, so the microphone can literally hear you over the music regardless of the audio levels that you guys have it set to. And guys, trust me, now I've tried and tested this with the volume being at 100%, and this is by far, and you guys can quote me on this, the best speaker using far field technology out of any AI device that is on the market today. Like, it can literally hear you say, "Hey Siri," from anywhere in the room, regardless of the loudness level of your music. And you don't have to yell at it either. So you just can speak to it in a normal tone voice, and somehow it will hear you and activate Siri for its next command. Now you have the ability to use AirPlay to cast music from your iPhone to your iPad to the HomePod. Now that means if you're listening or have a playlist from Spotify, Tidal, or Amazon Music, you can just AirPlay the audio to the speaker and be able to listen to your music on this device. Now a lot of YouTubers out there have been saying that you can only play Apple Music on this device, which is partially true since it does not natively support third-party music streaming services like Spotify, Tidal, or Amazon Music. But I do want to let you all know that you can listen to other streaming music services using AirPlay with this device. So don't get too discouraged by thinking you can't play your other music streaming services on this device, because that's not actually true at all. Now, call quality on the speaker is also amazing. Now, I tested this feature out by talking with Ashley over the phone, my good friends, as well as my family, and they all mentioned that they could hear me just fine. And last but not least, not major, but I thought it was worth mentioning, and that is the cord length and protective material that is made out of. Now, I'm glad the cord is long enough so it's really easy to be able to reach wall ports that may be a bit of a distance away. But I really wish that in the initial phase of them creating like the iPhones and the cables that they have, that they would have actually included this with it, because that would have actually saved me a few dollars on buying chargers, because this material is just amazing. So overall, from a pro standpoint, this speaker sounds amazing and definitely in the running and conversation as a best sounding hi-fi speaker on the market today. Now, I definitely think Apple has some good things going on here, and I really can't wait to see what else comes from this thing in the future. Now that we have the pros out of the way, let's talk about some of the cons of what I dislike about this new piece of Apple hardware. For starters, I just spoke about not natively supporting other third-party music streaming services, which is honestly a huge turnoff and really limits your potential customers to Apple device owners only. Now, I personally think that this was a terrible move, and I think if they want this speaker to be really successful in sales, then to be a true competitor in this marketplace, then I really think they need to open up this speaker to include music streaming services from other major platforms like Tidal, Spotify, or even Amazon Music. Now, I understand Apple not wanting competitors on their platform, but honestly, majority of your users most likely use Spotify as a source of streaming music. So I'm not sure why they would isolate those out and not just include those as natively part of this Apple HomePod. Next would have to be the use of Siri. Now, Siri by far is the worst AI in comparison to the Google Assistant, which is a front runner for me, and from Amazon Echo products and even Microsoft's Cortana. Now, Siri honestly just doesn't know a lot besides the weather, a little bit of directions, skipping music tracks, adjusting volumes, and math calculations. And for some reason on the HomePod, I feel like she's gotten dumber than using her on the phone. Now, simple questions she just doesn't have an answer to that I'm able to just ask Google Assistant, and she always has an answer for me. Also, it's not integrated with Apple TV from what I can tell, which is also a bummer. As of today, you don't have the ability to ask it to watch a particular TV show or movie, and it automatically begins playing on your Apple TV. Now, I didn't see any mentioning of this coming into play, but I feel like this should have been implemented out of the gate. Now, also, Apple not being ready for the device to be able to create a stereo setup is also a letdown. So coming later this year, you will be able to buy a second one and create a left and right channel, which would create a wider and more immersive sounding experience. Now, this is something that I know would be an amazing sounding setup and would probably rival even some of the big audio companies like Clip speakers, which is what I actually have in my home as my surround sound. Now, it's just disappointing that we as consumers had to wait for this HomePod initially to be released, and all of the features that were promised are not ready in 2018. And last but not least, a con for me is not being able to have speakers communicate with each other that are on the same network. Currently, you do not have the ability to be able to play the same music on all of the HomePod's speakers that you have within your home. Now, you also do not have the ability to be able to play different music in different rooms using the speaker just yet. Although this is a feature that will be coming later this year, I just felt that this is a feature that should be automatic out of the gate for a speaker costing over $350. And we all know what coming later this year means for Apple. It's going to be a while, and I just feel that in 2018, this should just be automatic for a speaker of this caliber. So now that you've heard my pros and cons about the Apple HomePod, go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Does the pros actually outweigh the cons for you to still make a purchase? Drop me a comment below and let's talk about it. Now, I personally think they do to a certain extent, and I think the speaker is worth buying for yourself or a loved one if you have an Apple device, because you can only use this speaker if you are an Apple owner. Because even if you guys do not have Apple Music subscription and you would rather use Spotify, Amazon Music, or Tidal, you would still need AirPlay capability to be able to cast to your HomePod. So yes, it is worth picking up, but I think the price range should maybe be more around the $250 price point and not a penny higher. I just think with all of the things that's missing, $350 is a bit much to pay for this speaker. But I guess Apple said since Google is charging $400 for theirs, which I also think is overpriced, they will try to undercut them by $50 to pull in those consumers. This may work, but if you can find a used one for $250, I would say buy it, and I would not spend $350 on it as of today. Well guys, that's all I have for you all today. Let me know if you liked today's video by giving this video a thumbs up, as well as clicking on that subscribe button if you like what you saw today. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my videos, go ahead and click on that notification bell as well, and you will be one of the first people to know when a new video has been released. Thanks again for watching, guys. Definitely stay tuned to the next video as a giveaway is coming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.